So you may have missed all of this news because it all happened so quick, but we've actually had creature submissions opened up for the next creature to be added to Ragnarok on ARK Survival Ascended, and we already have the top 10 to go through, so we're going to be going through all of that here in this video. And yeah, obviously, like, I'll leave a link to the voting down below. Please go and vote. Not that many people vote. Lots of people watch these videos, so just, you know, watch through this stuff and then see what you like and then vote for what you like. And yeah, anyway, so real quick, how do you vote? Well, head to that link and then you've got a top 10 right here. And what you want to do is you want to order your top 10 specifically based on your preferences. So if there's something you really like, pop it all the way up to the top. If there's something you really don't like, pop it all the way to the bottom. Everything in between counts, because say, for instance, this one here is your favorite. If nobody likes that, that one goes away, and then this one right here becomes your new number one. And maybe you didn't place that there, but that is your new number one. And your vote might end up counting towards something that you might not even like. So definitely place your order very specifically. Like, even if you don't care too much, at least do your top 3 and your bottom 3. And the rest you can probably just leave if you don't really care about them. All right, well, anyway, let's go through the top 10, starting with, this is the Miracinonyx. It's basically an American cheetah. And I gotta say, I really like the artwork of this thing. It sounds and looks really dope, actually. So basically just a cheetah. I mean, like, realistically, we all know what a cheetah is. I don't know if these specifically are actually what it would have looked like, but it does look pretty cool if it does look something like this. Definitely very, very nice. But yeah, let's go back to this artwork right here. So as you can see, it's relatively large. I mean, probably just around the same size as kind of like a Thyla, maybe a little bit smaller, but it's a very slender creature. Obviously, cheetahs are known for their speed, so this is going to be the type of creature that's going to be super, super fast. But yeah, their kind of idea right here is that would have a tech saddle. You know, again, Wildcard isn't going to take absolutely every single thing that you actually say it should have and add that in, but you know what? I mean, they did that with the Rhino, so I guess we can't really rule anything out recently. But anyway, yeah, so their kind of idea right here is that it would essentially be the ultimate traveling creature where you could kind of just run and it would avoid obstacles. Kind of sounds great on the surface, but I don't know if they'd be able to pull that off properly. And also it sounds like it could be really weird for like PvP and stuff like that. I don't know, it seems like something that you can exploit with. But yeah, so this is essentially a creature that will avoid the rocks, deep water, trees, creatures, and pretty much anything that's going to interrupt its speed, which definitely sounds great. But again, who knows if they could even pull something like that off? I mean, we don't even have proper pathfinding so far. We might have that in ASA, though. Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see. One ability that it definitely would have if it did get added, going up cliffs and then jumping off of them sounds pretty cool, too. Almost kind of like a Thyla, where you're kind of go down a cliff and then maybe you can like pounce off of it at some point. Definitely sounds really cool. Some other ideas they have here is kind of like throwing obstacles behind you and then perfect aim while you're mounted, so I guess it wouldn't like bounce at all when you're running. Yeah, lots of stuff like that could kind of be added, but you know, realistically, we kind of have to we have to just wait and see what Wildcard wants to add, and maybe they want to change it completely. But I don't know, this definitely seems like a cool creature. But the thing that we have to keep in mind with this new creature vote is this creature is going to be added to Ragnarok, and do these creatures suit Ragnarok? That's definitely one thing that we all need to kind of consider. So yeah, if you like this guy, pop him into your number 1 slot. If you don't, then pop him right down to the bottom. Okay, so next up we have the Barsboldia, and yeah, it's essentially a pretty good traveling mount. It seems like they kind of want this creature to have tons and tons of carry weight. You're kind of able to just shove all of your stuff onto it and walk around with it. I actually kind of like the idea of the actual like saddle getting little bags based on how much weight you're carrying, and then you could kind of like gauge whether or not you want to interrupt somebody that's maybe carrying a bunch of bags with them. Honestly, that would be a cool thing to just bring across the board for different creatures in ARK regardless. But anyway, yeah, so that's pretty cool. The kind of idea with this guy is that it would essentially be just like the perfect pack mule. You'd be able to just bring pretty much all of your stuff onto you, and being encumbered, it does not affect your speed as well, which actually would be great. I mean, I wish more creatures were like that. But yeah, I mean, it seems pretty cool. It's like a herbivore. Check it out. So here's some images of them compared to a human. I think this is it anyway. It's really hard to tell sometimes with Google, but yeah, so it's essentially like pretty big compared to a human being. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is between these two, but yeah, let's see. Do we have anything else here? I mean, they're probably in some other dinosaur games, to be honest, but there's an actual image of it. So really big, honestly. I mean, probably a little bit taller than, I guess a lot taller than a Parasaur. I forget how small the Parasaur is in ARK, to be honest. Should be a lot bigger, but yeah, it could be pretty cool. Obviously, this type of creature isn't the type of creature that's going to be able to stand up on its hind legs like an iguanodon, but yeah, I mean, like, it could probably run relatively fast, maybe have a good trample or something like that. I don't know. I mean, something like this could be added and it might be great, but I feel like just in general, like, we have so many creatures just for, like, traveling around. I feel like nowadays, just judging on what everybody's voting for, everybody wants something super exciting. So, I don't know. I mean, like, I definitely think this kind of creature could work well on Ragnarok, but it's up to you guys. So, next up, we have the Majungasaurus, and I gotta say, I actually kind of like this concept. It's definitely an interesting one. So the kind of idea behind this guy, first of all, let me just roughly kind of show you what they are like in real life. So obviously this is one from Jurassic World Evolution. Here's like a rough size right here. So they're relatively big. They're not the biggest theropod, but pretty big, to be honest. Not super chunky or anything like that. So I guess smart ways to survive is probably what they would have adapted with. But yeah, so let me show you. Anyway, their kind of idea with this guy is that it would be like a stealth dino that you'd be able to... obviously, if you have one, you can go up to wild creatures in stealth mode, like invisible, and read their stats, which is something that we can do on Genesis with HLNA, obviously, but we don't have anything like that on any of the other maps anyway, so I don't know, could be kind of an interesting thing. I feel like it would be nice to also kind of balance it so there's like room for error or something like that, make it like a little mini game or something. I don't know. I feel like something like this could be super overpowered, but I guess at the same time on Genesis, all we have to do is hit one button and we can read all their stats, and it's really silly. But yeah, I don't know, man. It definitely seems pretty cool. Another idea actually that they're throwing in here as well is that it would basically shed its skin, and then we'd be able to take the scales and create like camouflage armor with it, which I've actually really wanted that in ARK for a long time. That and like some sort of like energy bubble around you, like a bubble shield for like a certain amount of time. These are the kinds of things that I'd love in ARK if we're gonna get more tech. So yeah, I don't know, some sort of like way to actually camouflage yourself properly, not just like with a ghillie suit where, you know, you can still kind of see the player. It would be kind of nice. But yeah, obviously, you know, it's a cool idea. Does it suit this creature specifically? Is there a reason why this creature specifically should get that? I don't really know. It seems like it's kind of just thrown in, but I do like the concept. And yeah, that is the Majungasaurus. Oh man, the Gorgonopsid is back with some fresh artwork to pique your fancy. And yeah, you know what? Like, this thing's been in every single freaking creature vote. I've read too many different variations of what this thing could do if it was added to the game. I have absolutely no idea. I don't know if I want to read through another one, but the Gorgonopsid is essentially just... like every single time we get one of these votes, there's a freaking Gorgonopsid in it. Real life, they're quite small. Obviously, they'll scale it up for ARK, you know, that's just a given. But yeah, essentially, the idea here is, I don't even know. Let me actually read it. I actually do really like the artwork. It seems like the same artist that made the artwork for the Physaliceucus, right? Yeah, I think so, which obviously won its vote and everything, and we're getting that. We got an image of it recently. But yeah, so... let's see. So essentially their kind of idea is that it would be like a bloodhound. You'd be able to like sniff out and see what's around you, which obviously is an ability that some other creatures have. I mean, even the Tech Strider has it as well, being able to kind of like locate creatures and stuff like that around you. Troodon has it. I don't know, it could be kind of interesting. Honestly, like at this point, you know, even if it wins or loses, like, actually, obviously, if it wins, they'll add it. But, like, I mean, like, if this thing loses, just add it to the game. Like, I'm sick of seeing this in every single creature vote. I have nothing against it. We've just seen so many variations of what it could be, and it's exhausting. I think the last time it was like a Deathworm Hunter or something like that. So, I don't know, man. Wildcard, just freaking add this thing to the game. Like, people clearly want it, you know? I don't think it's ever going to win a creature vote. I mean, if it doesn't win this one, please stop submitting it. Like, come on, dude. Every single freaking time. So yeah, I don't know, Gorgonopsid could be a really cool creature. I keep seeing like the kind of like bloodhound thing as like the main pull for this kind of creature, but I do have to appreciate the artwork. It looks really cool in this. It's way more like furry though. I assumed it was like more scaly in real life. I guess, I don't know, it's like probably some feathery stuff there as well. All right, well, cool. Honestly, when I look at it, it looks like a long moss chops, kind of, just in my head. Like, that's what I see. These images are so tiny. Wow, okay. Well, anyway, yeah, so that is the Gorgonopsid. Please, wildcard, just add it if it doesn't win. Just, you know, like, let's have some fresh stuff in these creature votes, man. Oh, dude. Speaking of fresh things in the creature votes, this thing is not. We've had this thing before. I think it was the same one where the Rhino won, the Nothosaurus, and the whole thing with this guy is that it is like a land and sea mount, which could be kind of cool on Ragnarok. There's a lot of ocean on Ragnarok, but do people use the ocean that much? Honestly, I feel like when we get to the center creature vote, if they ever do one, because it seems like they're skipping over it, which is hilarious, by the way. But yeah, it definitely seems like the center would be the perfect map for us to just get some sort of crazy like ocean mount or something like that. But yeah, you know what? I can't complain. Like, this kind of creature could be pretty cool on Ragnarok as well. Obviously, there are oceans and everything. But yeah, for the most part, I guess most people just kind of chill out in the land, which you can do with this guy as well. So the kind of idea with this dude is that you'd be able to basically collect fish oil, and then you'd be able to make a fishing elixir, and that would boost the quality of the loot that you get from fishing, which could, you know, be a thing. How many people actually fish in ARK though? Like, I know it's a good way to get some stuff, but I don't have the patience for it myself. And I don't know, the fact that there actually has to be a fish in the water for me to properly fish is another thing that I don't really like. I kind of liked it in like Minecraft back in the day, where you could just throw the fishing rod into water with nothing in it and you'd get something. So I don't know, dude. I mean, it sounds interesting, but yeah, I don't know. Like, do we want this kind of creature in the game? Maybe this fishing elixir could be used for something different instead. I don't really know. Actually, you know what? It could be kind of maybe interesting to maybe tame up some like ocean creatures, some sort of like sanguine elixir for ocean creatures or something. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. If you guys want to see this creature in the game, vote for it. Next up, we have the Sivatherium, which is essentially a prehistoric giraffe. And yeah, this thing is a chunky boy, man. Like, he's got a very girthy neck. I actually really like this little saddle artwork up here. I really like the scorched saddles with like the little things to kind of block out the sun, the little roof almost on a saddle. I really like that stuff. But the kind of idea with this guy is that he would essentially be like a walking catapult. So you'd be able to like launch boulders, which could be a pretty interesting thing for like little sieges and stuff like that. Would be a fast creature as well, and probably really, really strong as well, considering its size. But yeah, so these guys in real life, like, here's some other images of them right here. They were pretty chunky. They were pretty big. I feel like I've actually seen a skeleton of one of these in a museum somewhere. But yeah, this one here is a little bit quite obese. But yeah, I don't know. They almost kind of like, in my mind, they're like a giant. They're like a moose combined with like a giraffe, but except maybe not a giraffe, because they don't really look like one. I don't know why they're called a prehistoric giraffe. I do definitely like the whole catapult thing. I think that could be kind of interesting, and maybe you could even use them to tame up rock elementals as well. But yeah, in the Animals of Atlas mod, there actually is a Sivatherium. I'm not going to show you footage because it's not a good representation. It's literally just a giraffe that's just named Sivatherium, but I don't know, it's pretty cool. So yeah, it could be an interesting one. Definitely a big chunky boy, and I feel like something like this definitely would suit Ragnarok as well. Next up, we have the Dreadnoughtus, and oh man, this would be interesting. You know, I've been saying it for a long time. We need more sauropods in the game. We do not have enough. There's literally like, there's like 2, I guess 3 if you count the Titanosaur as well. Kind of insane. We definitely need more of these guys in the base game, but the Dreadnoughtus is, from what I can tell, one of, if not the heaviest sauropods to ever walk this earth. Obviously, right down here, we have 30,000 kilograms. We have the Brachy. This guy's all the way up at 60,000, so very, very heavy boy. Like, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, very large sauropod. Maybe not as tall as some of the other ones, but it's really chunky. And I feel like this could almost be like the vanilla equivalent of the Brachy from ARK Editions, which I literally just tamed in a Cabalist video, if you want to watch that. But yeah, man, that could be kind of insane. Just having like a really just like battle kind of hungry sauropod, something that could just absolutely crush your enemies. I guess technically another sauropod would be the Amargasaurus. Just remember that. But yeah, I don't know, dude. This actually could be kind of insane. So it's a very, like, chunky and, I guess, quite tall sauropod when he stands up like that. I don't really know. Lots of images here. Some of them are showing his neck mostly kind of going out, almost like a Bronto. And then some of them are almost like a Brachy, where he's just standing completely, like, erect like this. But, yeah, dude, like, I'm all for sauropods. I love sauropods, and I want more of them in the game. But, the only thing is, like, sometimes it's like, I want this in the game, but I don't want it to just be on Ragnarok, you know? But I guess at the same time, we're getting so many of these maps coming for ASA, along with another new DLC that we don't even know what it's going to be. So I think just in general, like, we're going to have so many new dinosaurs out of all of this. You know, we're going to have at least like 11, I think, in total. So just going to be absolutely insane. We're just going to be flooded with so many new creatures to actually check out. So I don't know, dude. Like, a sauropod would be great, but we have plenty more opportunities to have one if it doesn't make this creature vote. But yeah, vote for this dude if you like him. And yeah, I mean, like, could be really great to just have an actual, like, just a sauropod made for raiding bases or something like that doesn't shoot spikes out of its head, of course. Once again, we have the giant bison. We haven't seen this one over the last couple creature votes, I think, but it's been around for a long time. This guy was in so many of the creature votes. I think he was in pretty much all of them at the very start, at least. There's been so many, especially recently, that I can't remember everything. The whole kind of idea with this dude is that it would essentially be like the perfect like pack mule. And I guess like there's been so many different versions of this thing being added into the creature votes and everything. I mean, like something to do with the milk, maybe making cheese. It gives you immunity to cold weather. It could be kind of cool considering the fact that wyvern milk does that as well. And yeah, I mean, one thing that I'd love if they actually did add it into the game is some sort of system like this where, you know, you can actually have multiple in the single like cart saddle and actually just like have this like perfect little like traveling companion. You know, like you just have like several of these bison just like bringing all of your resources around. You could just use them for like little resource drives. But yeah, right here they're kind of using an example of like a cart from Atlas. This is a thing that the wildcard did in Atlas, so yeah, I don't know, could be really cool. Obviously this is a classic look as well. And then like more of like the war kind of look here as well, with like guns on the front of it. I don't know, dude, like lots of this stuff could be great, but you know, realistically, this guy's been in so many creature votes. I will say definitely suits Ragnarok for sure. But whether or not it's gonna win this time, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's ever actually been in the top 5 in any of these creature votes, but you know what, it is what it is. A bison's a bison, we already know what it is, but you know, here's some images of them in real life. I mean, there's kind of compared to a human, so they're pretty big and chunky, but they're not gigantic like some other prehistoric beasts. Next up, we have the Gigantoraptor, which was in, I believe, the last creature vote, or maybe one of the recent ones. This dude is a gigantic, I actually never even realized how big they can be, gigantic theropod. Very feathery. The male would have like extra feathers, kind of like, you know, male birds often have like extra colorful feathers to attract the females, and then the females would be slightly more bland but still a little bit colorful. But yeah, so these guys in real life are absolutely insane. But another thing that we have to go off of is this artwork right here, which is an actual official artwork made by the guy who did all the dossiers. He basically released a bunch of unused artwork for dossiers. So at some point they were considering adding this creature to the game, enough to get that dude to make this essentially. So yeah, this is probably what it would have looked like if it got added to the game. It looks like kind of almost like an oviraptor, to be honest. You can't really tell the scale or anything right here, but it would be quite big, to be honest. Probably just as big as a Therizino, I would reckon. But yeah, honestly, like, I kind of like the idea of this dude. What are they saying it would do? So one interesting thing that they're actually saying about the taming of this dude, it could either be you just grab the egg, like a normal egg steal, which I still think are pretty exciting, or an orbital supply drop style nest defense. So essentially, if you want to raid a nest to get the egg, you have to go through like waves of creatures, which actually could be kind of fun. Or maybe you'd have to also defend it as well, because if you go and you kill the parents, then other predators might want to come in to actually grab it. Honestly, that sounds really cool. I would appreciate something like that if they did that. But yeah, so let's see what else. So essentially they want it to be kind of like a raising, nursing creature, kind of a little bit dull for a big theropod like this, but I guess, you know, it is the type of big fluffy creature that you would want sitting on your eggs. Yeah, I like it. I mean, like, I think just in general, this artwork is like the perfect thing to include, though. Just like, if you want to know what it would look like, this is probably it right here. They won't do it exactly the same nowadays, but they easily could make it look very, very similar to this, very colorful and everything. But yeah, if you like the Gigantoraptor, pop them up at the top of your list. All right, we're down to the very end here. I didn't even know, I had no idea this creature existed. Dire Otter. Like, what on earth, dude? Like, Is this actually real? Like, I've looked it up, and apparently they were. I mean, like, I don't know if they were ever called dire otter. I mean, on the Wikipedia for it, I can't find anything relating to dire. It might just be a bit of a, like, I guess a bit of a nickname for it. But the actual, like, creature type, whatever the hell this says, essentially was this creature. So it's almost like a murder otter, you know? Like, I mean... It's kind of very scary. Like, I love otters. They're one of the cutest creatures in ARK, but could you imagine a giant version that would just kill you and drag you into the ocean or something? Like, that's honestly terrifying. So, yeah, unfortunately, there's no actual, like, good images I can use on Google. Like, there's, like, literally nothing. It's just a bunch of ARK thumbnails and other crap right here. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, like, linked to all this other stuff. But, yeah, so... the dire otter, let's see what it will do. So it would be an early game oxygen tank, just like the Diplocalus. You'd basically be insulated from cold water. Could be pretty cool. On Ragnarok, would that be... There's no icy water on Ragnarok, is there? I don't think there is. No, there isn't, right? I mean, there's like lakes in the snow biome, I know, in the murder snow, but still. But yeah, I mean, it could be kind of handy on other maps. Would be good for gathering pearls, which would be great. Honestly, that would make a lot of sense considering it's an otter. Obviously, normal otters gather pearls as well if you get them to kill fish. And then it would be immune to stuns, which I can always appreciate for, like, literally any creature in the game. Yeah, dude, I mean, like, it could be kind of interesting. Like, I almost kind of want this thing to win, just to have, like, a gigantic, terrifying Winston, you know? Like, my otter. That is really, really scary. So, yeah, just in general, you can kind of see, like, the rough scale of it. I mean, it's almost like a saber-tooth size, maybe a little bit shorter. It's a giant otter. Like, I don't know what else to say, dude. Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, that's so insane. I almost kind of wanted to win. But, yeah. So, anyway, that is the top 10. Like I said, head on over, drop your votes, and, yeah, just make sure you actually vote this time. So many people don't vote, and then it's like 40,000 votes again, you know? So many people watch these videos. Just go ahead, vote based on what you've seen. Maybe go back and read through some of them if you want to. And, yeah, that's going to be it. If you guys have enjoyed this one, go ahead, do me a favor, hit the like button. Let me know what you're voting for down below. And, yeah, catch you in the next one.